Hello and welcome to this tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to learn how you could accept some elements from the user and then how you could store those elements into an array, and finally how you could just add up those elements. So in this tutorial what we are going to do is that we are going to try accepting some elements from the user. So there is a special function which is called as prompt, which is used to accept the input from the user. So initially we are going to use the same, and then we are going to accept the result from the user and store it into an array. So let's directly jump on to the tutorial. So basically what we do is that in order to accept something from the user, we use the prompt. So we type prompt, which is PROMPT. Then we have these parentheses, and within the parentheses we specify what we want to ask the user to enter. So let's say if you want to ask the user to enter names, so we type enter name, and after it you give a comma, and the next parameter which you want to specify to this prompt is what you want to display in a particular text box. So as in this case we don't want to specify anything, you just give double quotes and then you give a space. Now you need to remember that you always need to use the two parameters. Now if you don't want to fill up the second parameter, just leave it empty. Now just end the statement with a semicolon. And now as you want to store the result entered by the user into a prompt, you need to have some variable. So as you want to store the result from the prompt in a variable, we type var. Let's say we want to store names, so we type var names equal to and the prompt function. So what this line does is that it basically captures the result from the prompt and then it saves it into the names variable. So now once we have these things with us, in order to check if it really accepts something from the user and it saves it in names, we go ahead and we display it on the browser. So we type document dot write, and let's say we want to display the variable names, so we type names. Now we save the code and execute it on a browser. So as you could see, the prompt just popped up, and as we want to enter a name, we type ABC, and when we hit OK, it is going to show us ABC onto the web browser. So now our prompt function is working well. Now let's say we don't want to accept a single element or a single name, but let's say we want to accept multiple elements of an array. So what we do is that we remove these things over here, and instead of a single variable we create an array. So let's say var, and let's name the array as names. So we have an array for storing names. So we type var names equals to new array, and let's say we want to store 3 names, so we specify 3 in the parameter. Now once we have these things ready, as we want to accept multiple names, we use a for loop. So in this case, as we want to store 3 names, our for loop should loop from 0 to 3. So for looping from 0 to 3, we type for I equal to 0, that is the loop starts from 0, I less than 3, that means that loop ends at 3, and then I plus plus, so this would be 0 1 2. So it is not going to go beyond 2. So basically it is used for looping 3 times. Now once we have this for loop with us, the next thing which we do is we use the prompt inside the for loop so that the prompt appears 3 times. So we type PROMPT, then we ask the user to add names, so we type add names, and in the second parameter we leave it empty. Now once we have these things in place, we also need to store it in the array. So as we want to store it in the names array, so we type names of I equals to this. So this is basically going to increment, and in each index a separate name is going to get stored. Now once we have these things, we need to add up all the array elements with each other, and we want to display all of them onto the output screen. So in order to do that, we go ahead and type document dot write, and then as we have to display all the 3, we go and type names of 0 plus names of 1 plus names of 2, so that all the 3 are displayed onto the output screen, or all the 3 are displayed onto the web browser. Now once we have the code in place, we save it and then execute it. So as you could see, initially it is asking us for a name. So let's say the first name is ABC. We hit OK. Then it is going to ask for the second name. So let's say we have PQR. Hit OK. Now let's say the third name is XYZ. hit OK, and as you could see, it has successfully printed ABC, PQR and XYZ. Now we have a issue with formatting, and that is because we have not included some space in between. So but it has successfully added all of these elements together. So that's it for this tutorial, and I hope you understood this tutorial about how to create a prompt which is used in order to accept the user input, and then finally using that prompt in order to store the elements into the array, and then finally adding up the elements of the array by printing them out. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Thank you.